Genghis Khan, with his formidable Mongol hordes, stands as one of the most powerful military leaders in history, having dominated an expanse of over 9 million square miles during the 13th century and reigning over nearly a quarter of the globe's inhabitants. Few empires or realms could withstand their onslaught. The Mongols consistently emerged triumphant, vanquishing every adversary that dared to confront them. Their unprecedented streak of victories can be attributed to various factors, but central to their unparalleled achievements was the fearsome Mongol horseback archer. Genghis Khan's troops predominantly comprised a vast contingent of light cavalry, possibly the most extensive such force ever assembled. Remarkably, each archer possessed multiple horses, alternating among them throughout the day to prevent exhaustion and wear. By employing this strategy, the Mongol legions could traverse immense distances rapidly, consistently outstripping their foes. A formidable Mongol detachment could easily journey 60 miles a day, while their elite scout units had the capacity to span up to 200 miles within 24 hours. In the 13th century, such agility and swiftness were unparalleled, offering the Mongols a significant edge over their adversaries. But what facilitated their ability to span these enormous distances and attain unparalleled mobility, even when each warrior had multiple horses at their disposal? The secret resided in the unique combination of the steeds they chose and the riders who commanded them. The Mongols' chosen equines were compact and nimble, more akin to ponies when juxtaposed with the more robust stallions favored by European knights of the same era. Though diminutive in stature, the Mongol horses were renowned for their swiftness and incredible endurance. These resilient creatures could withstand harsh environmental conditions and find sustenance in almost any grass they encountered. This trait allowed vast herds to migrate without the concern of transporting additional feed, essentially enabling them to sustain themselves from the terrain they traversed. Intriguingly, a shift in the climate during the 13th century might have played a role in bolstering the Mongol conquests. Recent research unveiled in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science journal suggests that Genghis Khan's ascension and the meteoric expansion of his empire coincided with notable climatic alterations in the Mongolian steppe. In the period leading up to Genghis Khan's ascent, a prolonged drought transitioned into a phase marked by regular rainfall and temperate climate, causing the steppe grasses to thrive. This vegetation boom would have catered amply to the countless horses that formed the backbone of the Mongol cavalries. However, the prowess of a cavalry is as good as the skill of its riders, and the Mongolian mounted archers were among the most adept horsemen in recorded history. It wouldn't be an overstatement to say that they practically spent their lives on horseback. Their nomadic lifestyle meant they mastered the arts of riding and hunting on horseback at an early age. These riders, like their steeds, were robust, self-sufficient, and adept at navigating challenging terrains and conditions. Owing to their innate aptitude for equestrian life, they not only traversed extensive terrains swiftly but also exhibited remarkable horseback dexterity, which seamlessly translated into nimble battlefield tactics. Moreover, the Mongol fighters typically opted for lightweight attire, choosing padded cloth or soft leather armor over heavier metal alternatives. While they did deploy units donned in heavier armor for impactful charges, their general preference for lighter gear allowed for brisk movement and effortless navigation. The instruments of their archery further amplified their martial expertise. Mongol archers wielded recurve composite bows, crafted from a blend of bone, wood, and sinew. Despite their modest size, especially when juxtaposed with the towering English longbow, these bows delivered exceptional distance and might. Boasting an impressive reach exceeding 400 yards and delivering precise shots close to 200 yards, these Mongol bows were indisputably lethal, particularly when operated by those seasoned in their use from a young age. Wielding such armaments, the swift and nimble Mongol forces had the prowess to swiftly envelop or outflank their adversaries, unleashing a torrent of lethal arrows upon them. Tactically, the Mongols showcased unparalleled strategic brilliance. They deliberately chose battlefields that maximized their advantages, refraining from engaging in terrains that hindered their combat style. On the rare occasions where they faced disadvantageous terrains, they'd cleverly simulate a retreat, luring the enemy army across vast stretches to a more favorable ground. Once lured, they'd swiftly pivot and obliterate their pursuers. A significant element in their strategic dominance stemmed from their openness to absorb knowledge from the civilizations they overcame. If they discerned valuable tactics or strategies from their adversaries, they swiftly incorporated them. For instance, the Mongols engaged siege specialists from China and Quetzalmayan backgrounds to build intricate siege devices and formulate tactics when challenging strongly guarded cities. Meritocracy and a spirit of egalitarianism also contributed enormously to their military success. Every Mongol soldier was entitled to shares of the spoils of war, and even high-ranking commanders were required to do menial tasks. Any man who showed promise and talent and who worked and fought hard was liable to get promoted. The generals were not, as they were in the rest of the world, high-born men who were born into their positions, but rather warriors who showed an exceptional talent for command and strategizing. Their place and circumstances of birth were irrelevant. The Mongols took strategic measures to dissolve tribal allegiances by distancing individuals, especially those from subdued groups with potential rebellion tendencies, from familiar faces and tribal associates. These individuals were positioned alongside foreigners and newcomers. Yet, the Mongols were accommodating when it came to cultural practices. They maintained a policy of religious tolerance and refrained from imposing religious conversions. Through this, cultural and tribal divides were bridged, fostering fresh bonds of camaraderie among the soldiers. Troops were meticulously structured based on size. The most diminutive unit was the Arvan, made up of 10 individuals, scaling up to the Tumen, which housed a formidable 10,000 warriors. While the Mongols championed fairness and adhered to principles of equality, they were unwavering in their demand for discipline. Minor transgressions often met with immediate and severe consequences, with even the slightest misconduct potentially resulting in death. This approach ensured the troops remained in line and remained dedicated. Dive into another narrative. Was Genghis Khan an enlightened leader or a savage oppressor? The astonishing victories secured by the Mongol legions stand unparalleled in historical records. However, these feats would have remained unattainable without the unmatched agility, resilience, discipline, and allegiance of the cavalry, which was the backbone of the Mongol forces. Without them, the conquests of Genghis Khan and his heirs would have remained but a dream.